Well, I wrote a story earlier on this week kind of outlining what was going to happen. And that's very much, it was going to be a very low-key day in light of everything that's going on and the fact that they're still in royal mourning. So the Queen would have a few visits from family members, probably Prince Andrew and the Earl and Countess of Wessex. They live very close. She would go walking her dogs, but it really would be a very low-key day, no big official release of a new portrait, which is the kind of thing we expect on her birthday, especially something like her 95th. But what Buckingham Palace did do was issue a statement on the Queen's behalf, thanking people for their support and good wishes at a very difficult time. She made very clear how much it meant to her to have so many good wishes directed towards her and the family at a time of great sadness. And she said she found it very comforting to hear how much her husband had meant to so many people.
Rebecca, there seems to be a desire to get back to work soon. When can we expect that?
Well, by the time you're watching this programme of Palace Confidential, she will be back to work. I mean, the official royal mourning is about to end. She will be back getting stuck into those cases of red official papers that follow her everywhere. My understanding is that Palisades are already setting up a small number of engagements, mostly kind of Zoom calls and video calls from Windsor Castle. But on May the 11th, we will see her at the state opening of Parliament with her son and heir, the Prince of Wales. So it will be back to business as soon as possible.
Inevitably, turning 95 will provoke more questions about her reducing her workload and handing over more responsibility to the family. What do you think will happen?
I think the one thing that people need to understand when it comes to the royal family, particularly the Queen, who is a very cautious woman, it's about evolution, not revolution. So this is something we've been seeing slowly and gradually over recent months and years, and will continue to see slowly, that some of the more onerous affairs of state, the investitures, will be handed down to other members of the royal family. And I also had an exclusive front page for the Daily Mail last week saying that one of the things they're planning to do is to make sure more members of the royal family accompany her now in engagements to support her. I mean, it's not just that she's obviously lost her husband, but she's a 95-year-old woman, and that, obviously takes its toll, however determined she is to carry out her duties.
Rebecca English there. Let's talk to our panel again now. Sarah, the Queen's birthday is obviously always gun salutes, pomp, ceremony, pageantry, but this year it just all felt a bit flat, didn't it?
Well, this is her actual birthday, isn't it? Not her official birthday. So she normally has her actual birthday quite quietly, doesn't she? She doesn't do anything, I don't know, maybe she has a Colin the Caterpillar cake, or maybe a Cuthbert the Caterpillar cake.
Yeah, well, let's not get into such curly
But yeah,
issues.
It's never... birthdays when something like this has happened are just not birthday. It's very difficult to know what to do, and you can't. Everyone says happy birthday, everyone wishing you a lovely day, and you just think, oh, leave me alone. I don't want to have a lovely day. I don't feel lovely, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be happy today. So I don't know. I think what's really sad is that Harry went home on her birthday. I actually think that's really sad. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, it does seem for the sake of another 24 hours.
Why wouldn't he just stay until Thursday?
Because there's a much more important woman in his life, Sarah.
Well, I know, but come on, she's 95 and she's just lost her husband. And he was here anyway, and it's 24 hours. Really?
But it must be a moment to bring into sharp relief some other solemn conversations that need to happen. They will want to project this image of business as usual. She's 95, she's the head of state. There must be some conversations about how that transition might happen.
Yeah, of course. Charles has now got to have some very serious conversations with himself and his mother, and they've got to work out how this is going to work, because it has to be planned, because everything is always planned. So there will now be a time frame, presumably, because, it is what it is. She's 95. So I think it is a big pivotal moment in the royal family. I do really think that, and this is just sort of the beginning of it in a funny kind of way.
Palace officials have been very keen to play down the idea of a sort of summit that Charles has called with Prince William to plot the future, but they will be having lots of conversations, and it will, when the Queen is 95, by definition, it will be a transition of some effect.
Yeah.
And Charles will be with her at all those big
Yeah.
events, such as state opening of Parliament.
But how do you think Charles feels? I mean, it's so unusual, the situation where she's 95. Charles is not young.
No.
A lot of people will already be thinking about what William's monarchy will look like.
Yeah.
That must be such a weird position for Charles.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
the strange thing for Charles will be that, when he does become king, already everyone will be looking to Prince William, and he won't be making big decisions without consulting his son.
I mean, they just need to manage it very carefully. I mean, lots of people keep saying to me, "Oh, why don't they just make William king?" But I can't see them ever doing that. That would just be completely... I mean, unless Charles became incapacitated and was incredibly ill, then maybe that... But I don't think there's any suggestion that that's going to happen. But I just think, it needs to be managed in a very careful way, because she's 95. I mean, and even with the best will in the world, it's going to happen in the next, 5 to 6, 7 years, isn't it?
Gosh. Do you know, when we first started this show, I remember people thinking, what could we possibly talk about with the royal family every week? And they are one complex, complicated, fascinating bunch.
And like I said, I think it is the beginning now
Yeah.
of the transition phase. It's going to be huge. The next few years are going to be really important for the royal family.
That's all we have for you on our YouTube show. But to see the rest of this episode, including some more fascinating royal revelations, head to www.mailplus.co.uk/royals or click the link on screen now.